If I can build an image of something in my mind, I'm quite capable of building a physical replica of it in my world. If I build an image of myself as being prosperous, I can become prosperous.
When you visualize something over and over and over and over again, you actually start to brainwash yourself into believing that it's possible.
One of the great success techniques is people that are super successful are often called visionaries, and the reason is they close their eyes and they see the future. You create your future by envisioning it.
The imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known. Van Gogh was asked how he did such beautiful work. He said, first I dream my painting, and then I paint my dream.
Because we never end up anywhere we don't believe we don't belong and that we're not familiar with. So there's these things you'd like to do in your life, either visually seeing them over and over again and repeating those images to yourself, that's powerful.
The more that you actually believe in yourself and you start thinking and visualizing yourself speaking up, the more confident you're going to become, the more skills that you're building, and you're actually going to do it.
Once you remember, the mind is a powerful tool, and by harnessing the power of visualization, you can absolutely accelerate the achievement of your goals and create the life you dream of. You'll only see enough to match your vision. If you think you're a $100,000 a year person, you're going to see just enough to make you $100,000 a year. If you think you're a $300,000 a year person, you're going to see just enough to do that. Your perception is controlled by your beliefs and your goals.
Visualization is the perfect tool that enables you to use your imagination in order to figure out what you really want. Work towards that specific goal and not get lost around the way.
You have around 40 trillion cells in your body right now. You have to get all 40 trillion of those cells to go towards the direction of that one thing that you want. And the way that you control your 40 trillion cells is through your central voice, which is your thoughts, what you think, what you believe, what you say to yourself.
Visualization has been used for centuries to help prepare the mind, the body, and the consciousness for upcoming challenges, situations, and circumstances.
I want you to get clear on what it is that you want. I want you to visualize what it is that you want. I want you to speak it into existence. And I want you to start to feel gratitude for something that hasn't happened yet, knowing that that thing is going to happen. If you do that, your life will absolutely change.
You have a lot of visions, and you have a lot of dreams that you have where you just go, well, that's stupid, or I don't like that, or what would they think, or who am I to do that? And I'm here to tell you, explore those visions. Maybe you were given those visions, and those visions were a gift to you that you're supposed to manifest.
What studies suggest and have proven is that simply visualizing yourself doing things actually develops the skill and helps you improve the skills, just as if you were actually doing it. And so there's proof based on research that visualization helps you build skills.
Remember, every dream realized started in someone's imagination. It started in their mind. And with consistent practice and faith, visualization will become your bridge between where you are now and where you desire to be.
I see it way before I accomplish it. And I'm telling you, that goes for all the big goals I have. I see it before I accomplish it. I live it way before it becomes real. Act as if all your dreams have come true, and then challenge the reality to catch up.
What happens is a lot of times when you write down what it is that you want, and you get very clear on it, there's a part of you that's like, yeah, but I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I've failed so many times, or I'm not good at following through, or I'm lazy, or I like to sleep in, or I don't do anything that I'm supposed to do, or whatever it is. And so even though you see what it is that you want, your old brainwashing of the past is holding you back from actually mentally deciding this is possible.
For you to be successful in your business and your life, it's really important to visualize and understand where you're trying to go, because without a path to follow, you're going nowhere. You might go left, you might go down the bumpy road. You need to know exactly where you need to go, and then you just do what you got to do to get there. It's going to be hard, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be a million times easier if you know what you're doing. If you put it in the front of your mind that you're going to get somewhere and it's constantly on your thoughts, it's going to happen for you. So figure out where you want to be, stick to the plan, work your ass off, and the results will come.
Visualization isn't magic, it's neuroscience. When you vividly imagine, you perform an action, your brain undergoes many of the same changes as when you're physically doing them. Isn't that amazing? That by visualizing, we create neural pathways, making it easier for our minds and our bodies to replicate that success in the real world where it counts. But it's not just about seeing, it's also about feeling, right? It's the emotions, the joy, the pride, the satisfaction that fuel our drive and make our vision sticky.
When you visualize what it is you want, it opens up your perceptual filter to let in more information. Right now, you're not aware of what you're feeling in your right foot, but as soon as I say it, you can all feel it. It was getting filtered out by a part of your brain called the reticular system. You are filtering out resources and solutions to your problems all day long. And the only reason you're filtering them out is because you've not had an image in your head that you are going to solve those problems and get those results. Once you do that, it programs this part of your brain called the reticular activating system to open up and let in more resources, to let you see.
Visualization is one of the most overlooked things that I think that we have. That's a free tool that we can use every single day. And there's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system, which if anybody ever bought a car and you never see the car, but then you buy it and you see it everywhere, right? Anybody had that happen before? Well, there's billions of bits of information that are coming into our brains or could come into our brains at any point in time. There's everything you see, hear, feel, touch, taste, smell, but your brain is filtering out literally everything except for 200 bits per second. So it's filtering out billions of bits of information every single second as you guys are sitting here. So the power of visualization, the reason why I think it's so important is because of the fact that you're training your brain what to look for on the path to whatever it is you're trying to get.
People have done those studies where they've looked at sort of whether you actually physically practice, let's say on a keyboard, just because it's easier to sort of manage in a laboratory, versus just imagining sort of typing out that sequence. And just the act of physical visualization, of sort of imagination of that motor skill, it's about 50% as effective as physically performing it too. And it's 50% as effective, what I mean there is, in changing the plastic connections within the brain.
Whoa.
So even just visualization, passive play, as it were, still can actually cause a rewiring of the brain beneficially.
One of the things that's crazy is we can imagine a future that scares us, and we can feel the fear in our bodies right now, right? Like we can do that. If we can imagine a fake future and feel the fear in our body, which isn't real, can we also imagine a future that is what we want and feel gratitude for it right now in this moment? Is it possible that we can feel gratitude for something that hasn't happened yet? The answer is yes. And so what I want you to do is I want you to get clear on what it is that you want. I want you to visualize what it is that you want. I want you to speak it into existence. And I want you to start to feel gratitude for something that hasn't happened yet, knowing that that thing is going to happen. If you do that, your life will absolutely change.
Visualization is the practice of creating a powerful mental image of a future desired outcome. And it involves both imagining or seeing the end result in your mind and also engaging the other senses of hearing and physically and emotionally feeling the accompanying feelings to make the experience as real and complete as possible. So you want to imagine it as it's already completed. You'd hear the sounds you'll be hearing, and you also would be feeling the feelings you'll be feeling. You're like an actor. You're creating those feelings inside your body. So we have audio, visual, and kinesthetic input.
Thought precedes creation. It guides the energy in the physical world in order to attain certain specific behaviors. And for creative visualization to be fully effective, there are 3 requirements that need to be met. The first one is that you need to have the desire. You need to have that desire to achieve what you've decided to visualize. After having the desire, you need to have the certainty. You need to have the certainty that you will actually achieve this and that you will do it through visualization as well. And finally, you need to have the acceptance of whatever you're visualizing as a goal in your life.
To accelerate the achievement of any goal, just imagine that you're already there. Vividly imagine that your goal is already accomplished. And as I said before, engage all your senses. See it, Imagine hearing the sounds you would hear, like the sound of an engine of your dream sports car revving up, the sound of applause, or the sound of your teacher saying congratulations on getting an A on your test. And also feel the feelings of success, exhilaration, pride, or relaxation, as if it were happening right now.
Your mental training and visualization will be far more effective if you are performing the exact same or very similar mental and physical tasks in the real world. Okay, so first principle is mental training and visualization needs to be simple and brief and repeated. Second is that mental training and visualization is not a replacement for real world motor training or cognitive training. It's an augment. It's an addition that can really help. And the third principle of mental training and visualization is that you need to combine mental training and visualization with real world behaviors and experiences that are very, very similar.
Your brain doesn't know the difference between the bad things that actually happen to you, the real memories that you have, and an imagined memory that you're creating. Your brain will experience you visualizing going to the gym, you visualizing how happy you feel when you do, you visualizing asking for that raise and getting it and how proud you're going to feel. Your brain, when you visualize, it encodes it as a real memory. And that's important. Because when you encode it as a real memory, it changes the filter system, that reticular activating system. And here's what we know based on research. The more you visualize things, number one, the greater your confidence is going to be, the greater security you're going to have about it.
The things we fear in our life and worry about, we visualize those with great specificity.
It's almost like a mantra in their head.
It is a pattern and it's a loop. And you run it, and then you do it over, and then you'll slow it down, and then you'll add emotion to it. And sometimes on bad days, you'll make it black and white, and you'll see it, and you can flip the camera angle and see it. So on problems and worries, our brain's incredible at doing this. But on things we want, it's like, oh, I see the ocean. I see my dream house. Really, what do you see? I don't know. But I see a picture of the, okay, you see one angle, it's a snapshot. Yeah. Is there sound? Did you add anything auditory? Did you add anything kinesthetic? Did you change the color? Can you smell anything?
The way to visualize properly is to visualize the bridge between where you are and where you need to go, and particularly the horrible stuff. So let's use your example of the marathon. The vision board would be Lewis crossing. The arms up the metal. The arms up the metal. Exactly. High fives. High fives. I did it. Yes, I did it. Exactly. That will not help you. Because when you hit mile 13 on the actual race and it is sleeting rain.
You're saying, why am I doing this?
Yes, and it feels nothing like that thing on your vision board. You're going to start a negative dialogue. I can't do this. My knees hurt. This is not what I thought it was going to be. I'm not ready for this. I didn't train for this. I'm running New York. I trained in LA. So on and on and on. And you are going to tank yourself. What you do by visualizing the bridge is you train your nervous system and your mind to do the hard work. So you should visualize not crossing the finish line, but what is it like to be at mile 12 when your batteries run out on your earbud? What's it like when your shoelace breaks and now your heel is lifting and you're starting to get a blood blister at mile 17? What's it feel like when you wake up and it is pouring rain and you visualize yourself running anyway? That way, when you visualize the work, you are preparing your body for it. So you're not resistant to it when it comes.
So if you plan to the end, you think about the goal, you think about the other people, you think about steps A, B, C, D, E to get there, you're more concrete. And then when things come up, as Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until you get hit in the face, right? Okay, you get hit in the face. Yeah, all right, I got to change my plan a little bit. Yes. You're able to adapt. But if you're not thinking clearly about the end, you're in deep, deep doo-doo. Yes. That book will never get written, or if you do start it, no one's going to be interested in it, etc. You have to plan more deeply. And the closer you can visualize the ending and be realistic, the greater your chances of success.
What I'd love for you to do is think out 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and just try to imagine scenes in your life. Because what most people do is they don't see scenes in their life, they just write down to-do lists and goals. And so every day it's about a to-do list, and they're trying to just be more effective and productive each week, but they're not seeing the bigger picture. So even though they're getting their to-do list done, they got a lot of goals, they're not excited. They're not enthusiastic. They don't have that vision pulling them forward.
When you get good at really visualizing and creating new neural pathways, whatever you want, just seeing things more repeatedly, the success or bliss piece of it is much easier to do and feels less taxing on you. You're less fatigued, less stressed, and you want to do it again.
What happens when I think? Where do thoughts come from? How was this chair built? Somebody had to think. Thoughts are everywhere, and we pull thoughts into our mind and we build pictures or images in our mind. What we want to understand is that's a non-physical side of ourselves that's doing that. If I can build an image of something in my mind, I'm quite capable of building a physical replica of it in my world. So if I build an image of me as a happy, relaxed person, I can live like that. If I build an image of myself as being prosperous, I can become prosperous.
So if we think rich, we will be rich.
Absolutely. We're already rich, just short of money.
Because we never end up anywhere we don't believe we don't belong and that we're not familiar with. So there's these things you'd like to do in your life, either visually seeing them over and over again and repeating those images to yourself. That's powerful. But a double whammy is to not only repeat them and see them, but to go see, there's one thing that's a visual stimulus in your brain that makes you want to do something. The triple whammy is if you can see it, touch it, feel it, and smell it. If you allow all your senses to experience something, it becomes far more familiar to your brain. And so I'm a massive advocate of touching a dream in any form you can get it, the best of which is actually going and experiencing it short term. You begin to believe you belong there, you're a little bit better. And so you will not probably produce many things in your life that you've not visited either mentally or literally thousands of times. And so if you want to end up somewhere, you better be visiting them. Those could be dreams, visions, but the most important thing is if you could actually, more powerful, is if you could go touch them short term, massive difference. Drive by the neighborhood, see the cars. If you want to spend your life in service for your church or your community, take a day out every month and actually do it. Know what it feels like for an afternoon to feed the homeless, and you begin to love it and feel it and believe you belong there, more and more chance that you'll be able to do that full time someday.
An old man sat outside the walls of a great city. When travelers approached, they would ask the old man, what kind of people live in this city? The old man would answer, what kind of people live in the place where you came from? If the travelers answered, only bad people live in the place where we came from, the old man would reply, continue on, you will only find bad people here. But if the travelers answered, good people live in the place where we came from, then the old man would say, enter, for here too you will find only good people. See, we rarely see things as they are, we see them as we are. That's why for some reason we can turn even a blessing into a curse, and sometimes turn a curse into a blessing.
You're a way better visualizer than you think. You just do it with your problems. You're really good at it. And you do it all the time. And you don't even have to hit a button. You can do it when you wake up, you can do it when you go to sleep, you can do it when you're driving in your car, you can do it sometimes you're just having a great time. You're like, nah, let me give myself a hit on my worries. Bam, and you get a little bit more of your worries. When I'm passionate, And so we're great at this in the negative things in our life. The people that are most blissful and successful and do it the easiest.
When you can see it, then you can enter into it. What does entering into it mean? It means that now you can direct all of your energies towards that visual. And by the way, I just want to say, focused energy is extremely, extremely important. When you bring all of your energy and all of your focus towards that visual, what you're going to find is that focused energy will really amplify. The misconception is a lot of the time people, when they meditate or visualize, they think, oh, I'm supposed to just be very relaxed right now. Actually, manifestation is a focusing meditation. So what does that mean? It's highly intense. You should actually feel tired after it, because if you're tired, it means that you are channeling all of your energy towards that one focal point. And that's why you get very tired of that focusing, because you're channeling energy. Just like if you apply your energy to doing anything, you will feel tired afterwards. Manifestation or visualization for manifestation should feel that way too.
Here's the deal. You move towards what you're most familiar with in your life, okay? So there's a degree of familiarity in our lives that we move towards what's comfortable, what's safe, what's most familiar to us, because it requires the least amount of thinking. Your brain really wants to operate and conserve energy as much as it can. So the more things it can do habitually without having to think, the easier it is on your brain. And so it's constantly trying to get you to move towards what's familiar. And so if what's most familiar to you is your fears, your worries, your anxieties, your insecurities, you will move towards them. If you wonder whether that's accurate or not, we try to avoid things that are unfamiliar to us. If we only take visualization about our fears and worries, which is what most people do, you will move towards those because you're familiar with them as well.